I'd actually my favorite kind of recurring sketch is the thank you letters, and I don't know who. Somebody want to kind of chime in?
Well, they're called thank you notes.
Thank you notes. Right. Excuse me.
Thank you notes. I believe we were.
This guy.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
That's Jeremy's idea.
Yeah, it's Jeremy's idea. But it came out when we were trying to come up with one of the greatest pressures on our show is to come up with bits that are easy to produce, that take low production value. And so we had put out a sort of a challenge to come up with the, I mean, obviously. Letterman's Top 10 is like the perfect bit in that it's free, doesn't take anything to make it, and it's recurring and the audience loves it. So we would put out this idea like, let's come up with something like that. And his pitch was a result of that challenge, and it's turned out to be a gold mine. It's like it's a really fun to produce.
Yeah, we do it every Friday.
Every Friday.
And there's about what, 5 or 6? Would you say?
I think 8 or 9 is.
8 or 9.
Everybody writes them, and.
But are you literally choosing 8 or 9 from 40 or 50 ideas a week? Or,
I think that, no, we write them on, starting on Tuesday nights. We start reading them Wednesday morning. Usually by the time Friday comes around, we have, on a good week, we have around 20. The same way we test the monologue in front of the tour group, we'll read them out in front of the tour group, and just based on the response we get, we'll try to winnow it down to 11 or 10.
And I think everyone's written those except for Blyden.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, I was kind of preparing for this. I was watching some back shows and was watching the episode with the guys from Monty Python. And first of all, kind of as a process question, was that anything rehearsed in terms of them sitting around and someone pulling a chair out and they kind of worked around the room?
They are, what was so cool about them is that they all have very different separate lives now, and they have different representatives, and so getting them all to come on the show was not just like calling up Monty Python. Right. It was like calling up an army of representatives that would coordinate getting them all together. And they don't really, I don't get the impression that they hang out that much, when they're not, doing events and stuff. And what was so cool is when they got together, they are instant bit machines. Like they just immediately start doing bits and start goofing off with one another and taking the piss, as they say. But they were amazing. It was just really.
Well, what made me think of it is that there's a point in that segment where they're kind of cross-talking, and you could hear, and I couldn't tell exactly which one said it, said something along the line that, if you keep saying it, it gets funnier. And and I've sort of noticed that watching the show that it seems like you guys may be graduates of the Repeat Until Funny School of Comedy. Yeah. And there's a couple.
You repeat something and it goes down and gets really unfunny.
Well,
and then it starts to come back up and get funny
again. The Obama Ninja Turtles thing is the one that I'm thinking of. And maybe you want to explain that for the people who haven't seen that.
Sure. I mean, basically, we came up with this idea because Obama, we were just looking at pictures of Obama's face, and he just makes a lot of different facial expressions. So, I pitched this bit where, we show a bunch of them and then we name them. And as I was working on it the first time, I was like, I wish there was something to make this, to sort of like elevate this beyond just like, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, and then the bit's over. So actually I had this dream where Obama keeps, so we'd show an expression and he talks about the 1990 sitcom Major Dad, and then it just, every new expression after that is all about Major Dad. And so we did about like, so I just wrote it the next day based on my dream, and it worked somehow, and then we brought it back, and I just decided that for Obama, it'd be funny if he just constantly was reminiscing about things from the 1990s. So things that I liked growing up, I just make Obama like them. So we've done like Waffle Crisp cereal and Ninja Turtles and D2, the Mighty Ducks.
All the classics.
Dunkaroos, having Obama be like a huge fan of these things.
But very precise.
But so I just decided to sort of like have him go off on this long tangent about things from the 1990s. And for whatever reason, I think that it just resonates with people, and it's fun to bring up things from the '90s and have the most important man in the world basically be thinking about, like, Bubble Bobble, the Nintendo game.